Hey everybody, welcome into Closing Argument with Bill Colarulo. You can catch me every day from 2 to 6 on Unfiltered with Ricky Batalico and Silvana Kelleher. And every week I'm going to give you some of our main topics from the week and then give you my closing argument. Let's start with the MLB trade deadline. It was a wild deadline across Major League Baseball, but let's focus on the National League and specifically the Philadelphia Phillies. The Padres got better. The New York Mets got better. These are teams you're going to have to try to get through. The LA Dodgers got better. Did the Phillies get better? Yes, they certainly got better. We'll start with the bullpen. That was my favorite move that the Phillies made, clearly. They get Duran. He's the closer. He is a legitimate closer. Let me read you some of these stats. This season, he's played 49 games. He's pitched over 49 innings. He only has an ERA of 2.01, 53 strikeouts, 18 walks. But it gets even better. A ground ball rate of 65.4%. That's 2 out of 289 qualified pitchers. He's only given up one home run all season. This is a legit closer. We know all we got to do is get to the ninth inning and you should win a hell of a lot more games than you're going to lose. That's something this team has not had with Jordan Romano, with Jose Alvarado getting suspended. Strahm and Kerkering, I like them, but they're more setup guys, and now they can fall into that role. It'll be interesting to see how Rob Thompson utilizes Strahm and Kerkering going forward. I think he'll probably base it on matchups where you'll have Strahm or Kerkering in the 7th and the 8th, depending if you're getting lefties or righties up. But it should always be Jhoan Duran. I'm still trying to learn his name. I think Philly fans are going to butcher this name, by the way, because it's not Jhoan Duran. It's Jhoan Duran. We'll butcher it. Either way, though, he is a true, legit closer. Let me give you some other stats. In his career, he's had 83 save opportunities. He's converted 74 of them. That's a percentage of 89.2%. You look at closers with 50 or more saves, that's the third highest percentage rate in history. History in Major League Baseball. The only two guys above him, John Smoltz, if you remember, he closed for a little while, and Eric Gagne. And then you got Jhoan Duran. He's good against lefties. He's good against righties. You got your closer. But when we look at the other move that they made, this is the one where I had an issue with. Harrison Bader. And nothing against Harrison Bader. He's a decent player. He's having a really good season. But he's not really moving the needle for you. And I keep hearing Philadelphia fans saying, well, he's an upgrade from what you have in the outfield. And that's spot on. He is an upgrade. But that's a pretty low bar to set. It's an extremely low bar to set. And here's why I have my issues with Dave Dombrowski. He created that outfield. He's the reason why you have Max Kepler in left field and you're still platooning Marsh and Rojas in center. And you have no one else to platoon with Max Kepler besides the Weston Wilsons and the Otto Kemps of the world. That's on Dave Dombrowski. So although, yes, technically he upgraded, it's a low bar, and I wanted to see a bigger upgrade. I wanted to see something that was going to move the needle, that you could slide this guy into the top 4 or 5 in your lineup to really lengthen the lineup. Bader's not that. And when we heard from Dave Dombrowski after the trade, it didn't sound like he was very confident that Bader was going to even be an everyday player. It seems like you may still have a platoon in center or left or maybe even both. And that doesn't seem like a recipe for a World Series team to have a platoon in 2 positions in the outfield and you're still platooning Stott and Sosa at second base. Now, could this team win a World Series as constructed? Absolutely. I want to make that clear because there's some people who think we're saying they can't win a World Series. I think they could have won a World Series before these moves, although it wasn't very likely. I think with the addition of Duran and the upgrade that Bader gives you, your chances of winning a World Series did increase. But they're not the World Series favorites. They are not as good as the Dodgers right now. It's debatable whether or not they're as good as the Mets. We saw the Padres improve significantly. So the issue is, can they win a World Series? I think they can, but I don't think that it is a probability. So that's where I stand. We'll see how it all plays out this weekend with Harrison Bader getting maybe his first opportunity in a Phillies uniform. And I am looking forward to when they make that call to the pen for Jhoan Duran in the top of the 9th and they hit the gong and he comes running out. So that's it. We'll see how it all plays out. There's still a couple months left to go before October. But let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles training camp as our next topic. So I've been lucky enough to be down there for a few practices. It's been hot, but some of the major issues are what's going on with the secondary. And I say issues, these are minor issues. This is an extremely good football team that should repeat as Super Bowl champs. I know that's not an easy thing to do, but this team is good. They are really good on offense, and they look really solid on defense. But the questions are, who's your starting safeties and who are your starting cornerbacks? One position at each of them is already locked down. You know Quinyon Mitchell is your one outside corner. You know Reed Blankenship is your one safety. But who's opposite them? So far, what they've been doing in training camp is Cooper DeJean has been the starting safety next to Reed Blankenship in a base package. And then when they go nickel, meaning they bring that fifth defensive back onto the field, Cooper DeJean slides down the nickel corner, and Sidney Brown's been getting all the reps next to Reed Blankenship. Sidney's looked good in practice, at least when I've been down there. The issue is Drew Makuba, the rookie they took in the second round out of Texas, hasn't been healthy. He's had a shoulder injury that's prevented him from practicing. He did practice on Friday in a limited capacity, so we'll see if that can continue. It's going to be hard for a rookie to win a starting job if you're not on the field, especially with Vic Fangio as your defensive coordinator. You remember last year, as good as Cooper DeJean was, he didn't really get an opportunity until after that week 5 bye because he missed so much time during training camp and they just didn't trust him yet. I do have concerns that if Makuba continues to miss time, it may put him behind the 8 ball and Fangio's not going to trust him. We'll see how all that plays out, but Sidney Brown has looked good. The other question is that opposite cornerback to Quinyon Mitchell. They've been rotating through Adoree Jackson, who's the veteran. He started a lot of games in this league. They got him from the New York Giants from last season. He was a free agent. They signed him in free agency. He's been rotating with Kelee Ringo. It's kind of hit or miss. Adoree's look good at times. Kelee Ringo's look good at times. But that's going to be a battle to watch, I think, throughout the preseason to see what they do at that outside cornerback position. The other position that's been fun to watch, linebacker. Because you know what you have in Zach Baun. Now, he's missed some time because he has, I believe, a back contusion. So Jihad Campbell, their first-round draft pick, and Jeremiah Trotter, who's entering his second year, have been getting a lot of the reps with the first team at linebacker. And I got to tell you, both of them look really good. Like Jihad Campbell is moving around extremely well. We were surprised to even see him on the field at this point. We thought he was going to miss some time with that shoulder that he had. That's the reason he fell to the Eagles at 32 in the draft. But he's looked good. He flies around the field. He's long. He's athletic. And he's aggressive, man. I saw him put Dallas Goedert on his butt on a crossing route. Took him out. We saw him get a little bit aggressive with the quarterback, too. Landon Dickerson had to tell him, yo, Rook, we don't touch the red jerseys. But Campbell is flying around the field. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he's going to make it hard on him because he is playing really well in year 2. Now, what this could result in, you look at another position that maybe is a little bit light, edge rusher. You got Nolan Smith, you got Jalix Hunt, but we really don't know what we have behind them in Uche and Ojulari. Could they, if they really have faith in Jeremiah Trotter Jr., have Baun and Trotter Jr. as your linebackers, and then slide Jihad Campbell down to that edge rusher position to hopefully give you some good reps? It's going to be fun to watch. Some of the other competitions, you look at that third wide receiver spot. I think Jahan Dotson's looked really good in camp. We heard Jalen Hurts talk about it. We even heard Dotson himself talk about it. A full offseason together. He knows this offense. He's familiar with Jalen Hurts. I'm expecting a lot bigger of a season from Jahan Dotson at that wide receiver 3. We'll keep bringing you all the updates from training camp. Our man Andrew DeCecco, best Eagles reporter in the city, hands down. If you haven't heard him or you haven't read his stuff, you're missing out. He joins our show every Tuesday, every Friday. He's calling in from training camp all the time, so make sure you get all the best Eagles coverage on Unfiltered with my man Andrew DeCecco. Last thing, closing argument, Jimmy Rollins and Ed Wade are being honored this weekend down at Citizens Bank Park, both going on the Wall of Fame. Ed Wade, I think, didn't get fully appreciated when he was the general manager. It was kind of after he left that we looked back on a lot of the moves he made that did set up that 2008 World Series. Ed Wade did a great job. It's cool to see him getting recognized. Fun fact, actually played high school ice hockey with Ed Wade's son. So Ed Wade was at a lot of my ice hockey games. And then J-Roll. Jimmy Rollins, Mike Missinelli and I used to talk about this on Middays a lot. he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You look at his numbers, he should probably be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't think it'll happen, but he was extremely, extremely good when he was here. You look at the time that when he was in his prime, it was pretty phenomenal. So it's cool to see J-Roll getting recognized as well, and just brings back great memories. First championship I ever saw was the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies, because unfortunately I was born a week after the 76ers won in 1983. So I started to think I'm never going to see a championship. First one ever, those '08 Phillies. Thank you to J-Roll and everybody else who was on that team. And thank you to you for listening to Closing Arguments. Again, we'll do this every single Friday. But if you want more, make sure you like and subscribe and listen every single day to Unfiltered from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Thanks for watching Unfiltered on YouTube. You could like and subscribe down here. You could also see our other shows over here. Go ahead and watch them all. We love when you watch. The one thing, hey, you could also catch us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.